Morning all. Okay, let's see what today can bring in the 5-minute pool. Giul. So I'm 2-3-1-5 at the moment. Let's try Sicilian. I want to get myself used to playing Sicilian again actually, maybe Najdorf instead of Sveshnikov. I know it's theoretically heavily analysed. And you really need to know what you're doing against Bishop G5 and Queen E2. Okay, I'm hoping he doesn't know this inside out. Have I already surprised him with Bishop E7? Is that not the move? So I want to maybe in principle play Queen C7, B5, Bishop E7, put pressure on E4, maybe Knight D7 to B6 to C4, or Knight D7 to C5, depending on the position. Actually here, Queen, I don't know, Queen C7, because otherwise E5 is looking dangerous. Although Knight B5 is looking dangerous as well. But I want to put the brake on E5. And again, maybe put the brake on B5, although Knight B5 definitely. What about Knight C6 here? Just try and discourage E5. Alright, so if I take and then Bishop D7, or take and then E5 then Bishop G4. If I get this rook out of the way for a sec, so I can play Knight D4 B5. There is an access path, not necessarily a seemingly exploitable weakness at all, the C2 square in the Sicilian, but there's an access path, and this is something I've been sort of thinking about conceptually recently. So even if you can't realise an exploitable weakness, at least you can go one step before sometimes and look at the access path, and maybe that's really what makes the Sicilian defence worth playing, the C-file. Potential counterplay. So Knight D7 here. Oh, okay. I'm relying on a tactic here because Knight D5. I've got Bishop G5. Thankfully, check. If he king on B1, this could be big trouble. I hope it's not big trouble here. I'm not just losing a piece, am I? So Knight D5, Bishop G5. I hope Bishop E7. Okay. What's this? Okay, now this looks like fun. It looks artificially placed, that bishop. Can I play Bishop B7 or something? Just to keep C2. Just sack the pawn here. Maybe I'll just take. Maybe Bishop C5, you know. Encourage him to or just B4 actually, and then maybe there is an access path of significance. Queen A5 coming into A2. Get this rook out of the way. I want to play Bishop B7 without getting hacked, ideally. And it looks pretty dangerous now after that move I've just played. What was I thinking? Panic. F5. I'm going to get hacked here. If I chase this bishop, this rook again, I don't want the rook hanging out there for Queen H5. Can I play Rook B5 and try and exert pressure like that? Here, G6. Queen E3 coming in. Nope, I'm stuck. Got a Rook E5 in just in time. I'll play Rook B5, H6, Bishop H6, Rook E5. It looks terrible. I'll try it. I'm going to get slaughtered, aren't I? Oh no! This doesn't work because of Bishop H6. Oh, I'm not used to this opening at all. What about f6? Trying to play rook e5. He's actually protecting e5, which makes things a lot worse. I think it's slaughter time. Unless I can play. Nope. It's slaughter time. There's no way out of it, is there? Hang on, there's b3 here. I'm attacking the rook and a2. Coincidentally. That's about as coincidental as the phone number in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy happened to be of significance, this b3 move. I'm hoping it is significant. It's just given me one more move for b3, and this is like Fischer against Larson, where Larson had some tactic, which just one move before getting slaughtered himself. Am I being optimistic here with b3? So queen a5, maybe that is a useful move in the Sicilian. If you're about to be slaughtered on the h file, queen a5 could come to the rescue. What does he do about queen e1 and queen a2? Wow. That's actually a weakness of the last move, isn't it? Bishop takes h6. The rook was loosened. Unbelievable. Say the rook moves though. Am I in trouble? Check. I think the worst would be over. Maybe b takes c2. Rook takes b2. Queen a3. Or does queen take c1 here? He's missed that one, has he? Oh, he moves the bishop back, then he mates me. So if I take here first, king moves, check, then there's rook a5. If I play here first, there is a rook a5. There's bishop c1. Right. So is it worth playing this? King there, queen e1. So I force king a2, rook a5, king b3. In that position, queen b4. So it takes there, queen e1. There's no bishop c1. King a1 takes, king a2, rook a5, king b3. Queen b4. So I'll take on a2. So there's no bishop c1. So I played check, king b3, queen b4. There's no, even though rook a, this pawn, there's no rook a3. I'm sorry, there's no rook a3 because of this silly pawn. Oh, blimey. I thought it was up for the slaughter. Ah, blimey. If you remember, queen a5 happened in a recent game against an IM, it was pretty dangerous on the a file. I don't know, this just looks... His idea of getting the rook like this looks crude but effective. He got the rook to the h file. There's no defence. He's driven the defender of h7 away. So the rook's ripe to come to the h file if this bishop dares to leave h4, which it did. Because of this overly provocative blunder which should have lost coming up. My bishop's actually guarding, crucially, h4. And I invite him to just slaughter my king here without any protection on h7, and it's just a weakness of the last move scenario. In this position, it's amazing that in this position it looks as though h6, obvious slaughter time with bishop takes h6. But if you remember, there's a classic Anand Gelfand game where he plays a seemingly crushing attacking move like rook takes e6, but when you look at it, it weakened a rook, and here it's like weakening a rook. This seemingly crushing move, but emotionally it's very hard to be not to be distracted emotionally by the violence here and to think, oh, theoretically, you know, that move is weakening E1. So B3 justifies the queen totally on A5. Amazing. I just really didn't expect that. It's definitely not something I'd calculated in advance from inviting the rook to the H file. But here a bit of calculation is necessary as well, because if I take bishop C1, then I'm still getting slaughtered down the H file without trace, so it's important to play B takes A2 here. So king C1, can we go into examine mode? If I do hist and examine, so let's have a quick look. Fast forward the game in, so it's in the buffer, and I wonder if we can flip the board. If I do flip, okay. So what happened here? He's playing for E5 to switch a rook via the D file, so that this is the access route plotted in a way to my king. But E5 will also dislodge H7. So he's got this idea basically of rook D4 and then rook H4. If you think of what happened after the E5 break, so that really happened here. After knight D4, he gets his E5 break, and I was lucky to have knight D5 anyway, because otherwise, you know, otherwise this is a big problem. There's bishop G5 with check, crucially. Okay, that was the first bit of fortunate stuff. But this rook is now just free. It's got that access route to H7. And he can play also bishop E4. He can play queen H5. So this bishop is guarding H4 here from that access route. So this, who would have thought that this is so critical? Eyeing E1. That really wasn't the intention. It was like eyeing A2 was the main intention, but it is double attacking E1 and A2 here. So this kind of violence with bishop takes H6 might run in, as the game showed, to a tactical flaw. That's quite incredible. But bishop C5 definitely looks like a terrible move. I mean, the problem is I had here, actually, with bishop B7, I'm not sure I mentioned it, is, you know, something like rook D7 looks good here on the 7th rank. I wasn't that keen. Maybe rook B5, trying to tie white down to E5 here, which is potentially weak. Okay, so I've just given an open invitation for my king to be slaughtered, but I managed to get away on this occasion. It's a miracle move, just gaining one move away from being completely obliterated on the H file with queen H8 and stuff. Incredible. Comments or questions on YouTube? Thanks very much.